Welcome to Cosmo Publishing. You just tuned yourself to the coolest place to learn all about self-publishing. We are a turnkey quality service provider, from interior formatting to custom covers and everything in between, including book marketing and advertising. It is the company that books a lot.
Welcome to the Cosmo Publishing Podcast, where we talk about publishing decisions with clarity instead of pressure. Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Gürhan, co-founder of Cosmo Publishing and Cosmodio books. Today's episode is about one of the most emotionally loaded decisions authors make: pricing. Pricing is stressful because it feels personal. When you choose a price, it can feel like you are putting a number on your work, your time, and your worth. Authors worry about charging too much and scaring readers away. They worry about charging too little and being taken seriously, and often they worry that one wrong decision will permanently damage their book. This episode is here to remove that fear. Book pricing is not a verdict, it is a signal to readers about what kind of experience to expect, and a signal to platforms about how your book fits into the marketplace. There is no single correct price. There is only alignment. Pricing works best when it matches your book's genre, format, audience expectations, and goals at that moment in time. A price that works perfectly for one book can be wrong for another, even within the same genre. Context matters. Many authors look for rules. Always launch at 0.99. Never price above a certain amount. Premium pricing only works for famous authors. These rules feel comforting, but they are oversimplifications. Real pricing strategy is flexible and intentional. Think of pricing like clothing. The same outfit can feel right or wrong depending on the occasion. You would not wear formal attire to the beach or casual clothes to a wedding. Pricing works the same way. It communicates context. Another reason pricing feels difficult is because results are not immediate. Authors change prices and wait for instant feedback. When nothing happens right away, doubt creeps in. They change again. This creates confusion, both emotionally and algorithmically. Pricing decisions need time to settle. In today's episode, we're going to talk about pricing calmly and practically. We'll explore what pricing really communicates, when low price launches make sense, when premium pricing works, and how to choose a strategy that supports both visibility and confidence. This is not about pushing you toward cheap or expensive. It's about helping you understand how readers interpret price, so you can make choices that feel intentional instead of reactive. Let's start by understanding what book pricing actually communicates, beyond just the number on the page. Before we go any further, let's talk about what book pricing really communicates. Price is one of the first signals a reader receives, often before they read your description or look at reviews. In a fraction of a second, the price creates an expectation. Readers do not evaluate price in isolation. They evaluate it in context. Genre, format, length, and perceived value all shape how price is interpreted. A low price can signal accessibility. It can also signal low commitment. A higher price can signal authority. It can also create hesitation. Neither is inherently good or bad. What matters is alignment with a reader expectation. Think about walking into a bookstore. You expect a paperback novel to fall within a certain range. If it is priced far below that range, you might question its quality. If it is priced far above, you might question its relevance. Price tells a story. Online, this effect is amplified because readers cannot touch the book. Price becomes a stand-in for quality cues they would normally get from physical browsing. Pricing also influences behavior. Lower prices reduce friction. They make impulse buying easier. Higher prices slow decision-making. They invite evaluation. This is why different pricing strategies serve different goals. If your goal is discovery and reach, lower pricing can help more readers take a chance. If your goal is positioning and perceived authority, higher pricing can filter for readers who are more invested. Price also affects conversion. Conversion is the percentage of people who buy after viewing your page. A price that feels fair to the reader improves conversion. A price that feels misaligned creates hesitation. Conversion matters because platforms pay attention to it. When readers click and buy, systems learn. When readers click and leave, visibility slows. Pricing influences this behavior more than most authors realize. Another important aspect of pricing is comparison. Readers rarely look at your book alone. They look at other books in the same category. They compare length, cover quality, reviews, and price. Your price does not need to be identical, but it needs to make sense in that landscape. This is why copying competitors blindly often fails. Two books can share a category, but serve different audiences. A premium nonfiction guide and a short introductory book should not be priced the same, even if they appear side by side. Pricing also communicates confidence. Authors who price intentionally tend to market more confidently. Authors who feel uncertain about their price often hesitate to promote. That hesitation affects visibility. One author we worked with underpriced her book because she feared rejection. She avoided promoting it because she felt the price made it seem insignificant. When she adjusted the price to better match her content, her confidence improved, and so did her sales. Finally, pricing is not permanent. You are allowed to change it. Strategic changes over time are normal. What matters is making changes thoughtfully and allowing time for results. Price is a tool, not a judgment. When you understand what it communicates, you gain control over how your book is perceived. In the next section, we'll dive into the 0.99 launch strategy. When it works, when it doesn't, and how to use it without trapping your book at the bottom of the market. So we have this 0.99 launch strategy that everybody talks about. Let's talk about this strategy, but also add another important subject to it, when it works. The 0.99 launch strategy is one of the most talked about pricing approaches in publishing and also one of the most misunderstood. Many authors hear about it as a universal rule: launch cheap, climb the charts, then raise the price. Sometimes that works, often it does not. The difference lies in intention, timing, and context. A 0.99 price lowers the barrier to entry. It makes it easy for readers to take a chance on an unfamiliar author. At that price point, readers do not deliberate, they act. This is why low-price launches can increase sales velocity quickly. Velocity matters because platforms respond to momentum. A steady stream of purchases signals interest. This strategy works best when your primary goal is discovery. If you are launching your first book, entering a competitive genre, or building an audience from scratch, a low price can help more readers say yes. It can create early movement, which in turn generates data, reviews, and visibility. However, low price does not work in isolation. It must be supported by clarity. If your cover, description, and positioning are unclear, a 0.99 price will not fix that. Readers may buy, but if they do not read or engage, the algorithm learns nothing positive. Another important factor is format. Low pricing is most effective for digital editions. Readers are accustomed to paying more for print. Pricing a paperback too low can actually raise suspicion. Digital readers expect flexibility. Print readers expect value tied to physical production. There is also a psychological effect to consider. A low price attracts a different type of reader. Some are curious explorers, others are bargain hunters. Bargain hunters are more likely to buy impulsively and less likely to finish or review. This does not mean they are bad readers. It means their behavior patterns differ. This is why authors sometimes see high download numbers with low engagement after a 0.99 launch. That outcome is not failure, but it is information. It tells you something about audience quality and alignment. A common mistake is leaving the book at 0.99 for too long. When a low price becomes permanent, it resets perceived value. Readers begin to associate the book with that number. Raising the price later can feel abrupt if not timed carefully. A strategic 0.99 launch is temporary. It has a clear beginning and a clear end. It is used to gather data, reviews, and visibility, not to define long-term value. Another mistake is using a low price out of fear. Pricing low because you're unsure of your work sends a different signal than pricing low as part of a plan. Readers may not consciously notice, but the way you talk about your book changes. Confidence matters. We've seen authors use a short low price window effectively. One nonfiction author launched at 0.99 for 2 weeks, paired with a clear description and targeted outreach. Reviews came in quickly. After the price increased, conversion remained strong because trust had already been established. We have also seen authors struggle when they launched low without support. No outreach, no clarity, no follow-up. The book faded quickly, and the low price did not create lasting momentum. The key question to ask yourself is simple. What is my goal right now? If the goal is discovery and data, a low price can help. If the goal is authority, positioning, or revenue per reader, it may not. In the next section, we'll explore premium pricing, when higher prices make sense, and why charging more can sometimes lead to stronger results, not weaker ones. After talking about the 99 cents launch strategy, we should also talk about the premium pricing and when higher prices make sense. Yes, premium pricing often feels risky to authors, especially early in their careers. Charging more can trigger fears about rejection, lower sales, or being compared unfavorably to established names. But higher prices are not about ego or exclusivity. They are about positioning, expectations, and fit. Premium pricing works when the price aligns with perceived value. Perceived value is shaped by clarity, authority, and relevance. When readers understand what they are getting and why it matters to them, a higher price can actually increase confidence rather than reduce it. In nonfiction, premium pricing often makes sense when the book promises a clear outcome. Guides, frameworks, professional resources, and problem-solving books benefit from higher prices because readers associate cost with usefulness. A higher price signals depth, seriousness, and investment. Readers who buy are often more committed, more likely to read fully, and more likely to leave thoughtful reviews. In fiction, premium pricing can work when the book fits reader expectations for quality and experience. Longer novels, well-designed series starters, or books positioned as immersive reads often perform well at higher price points. Readers who are already fans of a genre or an author expect to pay more for a satisfying experience. Premium pricing also filters your audience. A higher price reduces impulse buys and attracts readers who are intentionally choosing your book. This often leads to better engagement, higher completion rates, and stronger reviews. Fewer sales with higher engagement can outperform many sales with low follow-through. Another advantage of premium pricing is sustainability. When each sale generates more revenue, you can afford to invest in ads, cover design, editing, or future projects without relying on high volume. This creates a healthier long-term model for many authors. However, premium pricing requires clarity. If your book page is vague, if the description is unclear, or if the cover does not communicate quality, a higher price creates hesitation. Readers need reassurance before committing. We've seen authors raise prices after improving their book pages and see sales increase, not decrease. The higher price matched the improved presentation, and readers responded positively. A common mistake is raising the price without changing anything else. Price alone cannot create value. It must reflect value that is already visible. Premium pricing also works best when paired with confidence. Authors who price higher but apologize for it, downplay their work, or avoid promoting feel misaligned. Readers sense that hesitation. When authors stand behind their price calmly, readers trust the signal. Another factor is competition. If most books in your category are priced within a certain range, pricing far above that range requires a clear reason. This does not mean you must match competitors exactly. It means you must justify the difference through positioning. Premium pricing is not about being expensive. It is about being appropriate. In the next section, we'll bring both strategies together and talk about how to choose the right pricing approach for your specific book, your goals, and your stage as an author. We talked about pricing our book for 99 cents. We also talked about the premium pricing. So now let's talk about choosing the right strategy for your book. Choosing the right pricing strategy is less about formulas and more about alignment. The same price can be powerful for one book and damaging for another. What matters is how well your price matches your book's purpose, audience, and moment in its life cycle. The first question to ask is about goals. Are you trying to be discovered by new readers, or are you trying to establish authority and earn more per sale? A discovery-focused goal often pairs well with lower pricing for a limited time. A positioning-focused goal often benefits from higher pricing that signals confidence and depth. Your genre plays a major role. In fast-moving fiction genres where readers consume books quickly, lower digital prices can encourage experimentation. In nonfiction, especially instructional or professional categories, readers often associate higher prices with usefulness and seriousness. They are not just buying a book, they are buying a solution. Your stage as an author matters too. Debut authors sometimes benefit from lower introductory pricing to reduce risk for readers. Established authors with a track record can price higher because trust already exists. Neither approach is better. They simply serve different realities. Format is another key factor. Digital formats allow more flexibility. Print pricing is constrained by production costs and reader expectations. A premium paperback can feel reasonable. A premium ebook requires stronger justification. Timing also matters. Pricing can change over time without harming your book. A lower launch price can transition to a higher long-term price once reviews and visibility are established. A premium launch can later include temporary discounts to stimulate activity. And the key is intentional movement, not constant fluctuation. We often see authors struggle when they lock themselves into one number emotionally. Pricing is a tool. Tools are meant to be adjusted as circumstances change. One author we worked with launched low to build visibility, then raised the price once reviews accumulated. Another launched at a premium price to establish authority, then used short discounts during promotions. Both approaches worked because they matched the author's goals and audience. The biggest mistake at this stage is guessing without context. Pricing decisions should be informed by category norms, reader expectations, and your own comfort level. Comfort matters because confidence affects promotion. In the next section, we'll look at how pricing interacts with ads, reviews, and SEO, and why pricing decisions work best when they are part of a larger system. Now that we know how to price our book, let's talk about how pricing interacts with ads, reviews, and SEO. Pricing does not operate on its own. It influences and is influenced by ads, reviews, and discoverability. When these elements are aligned, your book moves more easily through the marketplace. When they are disconnected, even strong individual tactics struggle. Let's start with ads. Ads amplify existing signals. A lower price often improves ad conversion because it reduces hesitation. Readers who click an ad and see a reasonable price are more likely to buy. That purchase feeds data back into the system, helping ads perform better over time. However, low prices are not a requirement for ads. Clear positioning matters more. A premium price book with a strong promise and the right audience can convert just as well. Reviews interact with pricing through trust. A higher price paired with few or no reviews creates hesitation. A lower price can compensate temporarily, but long-term stability comes from social proof. As reviews accumulate, readers feel more comfortable paying more. This is why some authors raise prices after reviews appear, not before. SEO is influenced by how readers behave after seeing your price. If readers click your book and buy, visibility improves. If they click and leave, visibility slows. Pricing affects that decision more than most authors realize. A misaligned price creates friction. A fair price removes it. Frequent price changes can confuse this system. Amazon learns from patterns. Stability allows data to accumulate. Strategic adjustments followed by patience work better than constant experimentation. One important thing to remember is that pricing signals compound. A well-priced book converts better. Better conversion improves SEO. Improved SEO brings more traffic. More traffic leads to more reviews. Each element supports the others. When pricing feels frustrating, it is often because it is being adjusted in isolation. Step back and look at the full picture, cover clarity, description alignment, review presence, audience expectations. Pricing works best when it matches all of these. In the next section, we'll talk about common pricing mistakes authors make and how to avoid emotional decisions that stall growth. Well, we know authors never make mistakes, but we should still talk about the common pricing mistakes authors make. The most common pricing mistake authors make is underpricing out of fear. Fear of rejection, fear of low sales, fear of being judged. Pricing low without intention can undermine confidence and positioning. Readers sense uncertainty, even if they cannot articulate it. Another mistake is copying competitors without context. Just because a book in your category is priced a certain way does not mean it should work for yours. Different books serve different readers. Different authors carry different trust levels. Imitation often leads to misalignment. Panic-driven changes are another issue. Authors lower prices after a slow week, then raise them again after a few sales, then lower them again. This creates instability. It confuses both readers and platforms. Pricing needs time to settle. Some authors also treat price as permanent. They believe choosing a number locks them in. This mindset creates pressure. Pricing is flexible. Strategic changes over time are normal and healthy. Another mistake is separating pricing from self-perception. When authors feel uncomfortable promoting their book, pricing often reflects that discomfort. Confidence matters. Readers respond to it. Finally, many authors expect pricing to fix deeper issues. Price cannot compensate for unclear positioning, weak descriptions, or mismatched audience targeting. It amplifies what already exists. Avoiding these mistakes requires patience and perspective. Pricing is not a test you pass or fail. It is a conversation you refine. And we should finish our podcast with an important subject, a confident strategic pricing mindset. As we close this episode, I want you to release the idea that there is a perfect price waiting to be discovered. Pricing is not about finding the right number. It is about choosing a number that aligns with your book, your audience, and your goals. Price does not define the worth of your work. It communicates context. When that context is clear, readers respond. You are allowed to experiment thoughtfully. You are allowed to adjust. You are allowed to change your mind. None of these things mean you failed. What matters is intention. When pricing decisions are made calmly and strategically, confidence follows. Confidence improves promotion. Promotion improves visibility. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Cosmo Publishing Podcast. I'm your host, Gürhan. I hope today's conversation helped you see pricing not as pressure, but as positioning. Until next time, keep writing, keep learning, and price with clarity and confidence.
Welcome to Cosmo Publishing. You just tuned yourself to the coolest place to learn all about self-publishing. We are a turnkey quality service provider, from interior formatting to custom covers and everything in between, including book marketing and advertising. It is the company that books a lot.